Hey there. Today I'd like to talk about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is the ability to wake up in your dreams so that you can interact with them, explore different areas and control them to varying degrees. In this video I'm going to describe what I believe is a new, more harmonious approach to this discipline, which allows you to work with the dream and with the way your mind naturally works, so as to be able to achieve great ability in this art in the shortest possible time. Most lucid dreaming techniques involve a repeated reminder during the day to become aware. This can be done through a observational technique whereby you're looking for elements which you would associate with dreams. It could be a reminder whereby you check a certain trigger which you hope is going to trigger during your time asleep. Or it could be to do auto-suggestion. You could be repeating a phrase which involves saying that you're going to wake up. All these techniques have one limitation. They are forceful and they work against the flow of what's happening in the dream. Dreaming isn't just a random combination of events produced by the mind to entertain us while we're asleep. There's actually very important work going on there. A master of the dream state can sit in meditation and watch his or her dreams. And someone with this level of ability could spend weeks observing each dream and then get an intuitive and intellectual understanding of how this dream process works. And they would find that the dream often has a purpose. It could be separating two principles or sets of events in the mind. It could be trying to draw together two concepts. It might be rehearsing a response to a situation or trying to condense a future situation into existence. It could be diffusing a feel or concept throughout the consciousness. The dream has a specific goal which brings a sense of relief and regeneration when you're working with it. So, forcing yourself into a sudden state of being awake in the dream is like a small rebellion. It's like you're in the middle of a marathon, you're running along and you suddenly decide you're going to do something else, you can do yoga. And what happens? Everyone around you tries to bring you back into the activity. You can think about this in any area of waking life. If you're in a big group of people, you're part of a process and you suddenly try to stop it or separate yourself from that, everything around you tries to draw you back in. And that's why it's very hard to keep awareness with this approach. You might wake up for a few moments, and if you practice maybe you could extend that, but the actual dream and the forces of that consciousness try to make you part of that regeneration and healing process that it's got ongoing. My approach is different. My approach is based on harmonizing and working with those dreams. So the first step is to make sure that this focus on harmonizing and working with is happening in your daily life. So make sure you're as aware and on target as possible during the day, and make sure that you're working with the opportunities that are presented to you. Secondly, it's time to practice daydreaming. And by daydreaming I mean both the state before you go to sleep, and maybe if you have time, the snoozing when you wake up. So if you can wake up and then snooze for a while, that's just the perfect time for this kind of training. Daydreaming is a very interesting thing because after a while the daydream takes over, but you're still kind of interacting, kind of awake. So you can see how this is the very thing we're seeking, but in a more gentle form. So the key is to learn to daydream when you're going to sleep, learn to daydream in a separate time after you've awoken, put some time aside for this daydreaming practice. And what you're seeking to do is to pick up on the feel of that daydream. If you try to put in words, if you try to find out what the purpose of the dream is in intellectual terms and grasp it, you'll crush it and you won't get it. So you're looking for that feeling of regenerating release. Anyone who does snooze in the morning will know exactly what I'm talking about, that feeling of healing and recovery and enjoyment from that interaction. If you practice seeking this and practice working with it, keeping aware, keeping on target, interacting with the dream, you'll find that the borderline between daydreaming and actual dreaming starts to get very thin, and soon you'll find you are awake for long periods in your dreams. It's like being a factory worker going into the factory with a whole team of them there, because you're on side, because you're meant to be there. There are no forces to oppose you. Everything's welcomed. You're coming to help. You're going to make that dream process better. But what about the exploring? What about the things we want to do in our dreams? Well, that comes later. You'll find that actually because you're working with the dream state, because you are actually helping fulfill that purpose, you're seeking the right outcome, you'll find the work of the night is over a lot earlier. So your daydream goes into a dream, the whole plot of the dream comes to its fulfillment. Maybe there's a few changes of scenes that you work with, and then you'll find a very specific feeling. Some people feel a buzzing or hear an electric style buzzing in their ears. This is described in many of the ancient texts. And then it's almost like you've done the work. Now it's time for some playtime. Then you are able to start exploring different areas of this dream consciousness yourself and be able to create different dreams. Now, one of the first steps is to move where you're dreaming. And this is something I can't put on video. This is something that needs to be taught directly, because most people are dreaming in a state which is a place which is very hard to remain aware in. So if you move your consciousness to a different place in this sort of dream realm, you find it a lot easier to function and achieve things. This approach through harmonization is something that also spreads ripples in all your other mental abilities. So it's got a lot more to offer than just the ability to wake up in the dreams. You'll find that by practicing working with the mind in this way, your mind starts to work with you. And in daily life, self-mastery is far closer, and effortless success comes to you in your other exercises. My name's Martin Faulks, and I hope this video has been of use to anyone who's wanting to explore these states of dream. Until next week, let's let every word and action count.